parent that has access to on-demand childcare will simply book a childcare provider that will come to their home tomorrow. A parent that doesn't have some stress added to their mental load, they'll probably either miss their workday or try to work from home. When you have a distributed workforce, people in different cities, different provinces, different countries, you need perks and benefits that they can all use.
In 2026, forward-thinking companies recognize that productivity, retention, and morale are directly tied to how supported employees feel beyond office hours.
I would envision all parents having access to a solution, to a plan B, so that they can have peace of mind.
Hi, this is Kripa Anand, and welcome to the CanadianSME Small Business Podcast. Today, we are exploring how flexible, on-demand childcare is redefining employee benefits and reshaping the way modern businesses support working parents. For years, the line between professional responsibilities and personal life has steadily blurred. In 2026, forward-thinking companies recognize that productivity, retention, and morale are directly tied to how supported employees feel beyond office hours. What this really means is that care is no longer a perk. It has become essential infrastructure. Joining us is Marie-Pier Hebert, founder and CEO of Kiid. After launching 11 international hospitality properties in just 18 months, Marie-Pier shifted focus towards solving a pressing challenge for working families: access to reliable, high-quality childcare. Through Kiid, organizations across Canada are reducing absenteeism and strengthening employee engagement with concierge-level care solutions. So before further ado, let's dive in. Marie-Pier, such a pleasure to have you here. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Marie, you often say that supporting families is, smart business. So how exactly does direct childcare support, improve productivity and employee well-being? Please go ahead.
Direct childcare support is not only like helping parents. It changes the operating system of a workforce. Time reliability, work absences, retention, hiring. It really has a big impact. I'll give you the most common example. A parent has a sick child. They have a little fever, they're okay, but they can't go to school or to daycare. A parent that has access to on-demand childcare will simply book a childcare provider that will come to their home tomorrow from 9 to 5, and they're covered. A parent that doesn't will have some stress added to their mental load. They'll probably either miss their workday or try to work from home with their 2-year-old running around. So you see the difference between having and not.
Well, definitely, I'd say that's a powerful realization that when a parent's mind is at peace regarding their children, their performance at work, naturally hits a higher note. So
for sure,
it's quite obvious. That's great, and that's very, that's a very interesting business as well. Because let's explore how Kiid's personalized, concierge model differs from traditional daycare out there. Because I'm sure after listening to this, a lot of people will think that there are other options available in the market as well. So I'd like you to highlight the USP of Kiid.
So Kiid is, first of all, in-home childcare. So we're not bringing the kids to a daycare. And it's most often used on demand, last minute, as a backup plan. Some people will use it every day, but most people will use it as a backup plan. Traditional marketplace, if you're looking at on-demand in-home childcare, traditional marketplace, it's more, here's a list of people that look good. They're available when you need them. Good luck.
Right.
At Kiid, it's okay, I need someone tonight from 5 to 10 at this location. My children are 9 and 6. How can you help me? And within 1 hour, a real human coordinator will do everything for the parent, coordinate everything, and send them the profile of the person that's vetted, checked, experienced, and the parent doesn't have to do anything.
Wow. I'm sure that must be such a stress buster for every parent out there. That, high touch, customized approach clearly removes the friction that usually makes finding that last minute care such a nightmare for parents. That's great. Now, moving ahead, let's discuss the real ROI of on demand care for both employers and individuals. If I were to ask you, is Kid affordable for small businesses? And how does it impact staff retention? Because majority of our listeners right now would be small business owners. So how do you direct this to them?
Yeah, so our membership is very affordable for small businesses. It's also very easy to use. We don't require businesses to be locked in a long-term 12-month, 3-year contract. It's a minimum of 3 months contract. They can try it, use it, and see if it works or not. Then on retention, the ROI on retention, replacing an employee will cost between 50 to 200% of that employee's salary.
Yeah.
It's substantial. So preventing as little as 1% of your departure will cover the cost of childcare.
Right.
Then if you're using Kiid, so parents will of course pay the hourly of the childcare provider. The advantage to give access to your employees to Kiid is that they'll have a tax receipt. When you use, the neighbor down the street or even some nannies, often you won't get tax receipt and you pay out of pocket. With Kiid, all employees can include this expense in their tax at the end of the year. So that's a big, I think, perk. And then if we look at retention, what employer will actually see is less, oh, I can't make it, childcare fell through. Fewer downshifting, going to part-time for some employees, especially women, if they don't have a support. And they will have better retention in key career stages, especially mid-manager levels and specialists.
Very interesting. I loved how seeing this as an investment in retention rather than just, a cost completely changes the ROI calculation for a growing business. Hello, entrepreneurs. Stop thinking of childcare as a family issue and start seeing it as a talent issue. If you want to stop the revolving door of turnover in 2026, you need to support your team where it matters most, in their homes and with their families. All right, we're going to take a short break right here. Don't go anywhere, because when we return, we'll explore how trust and caregiver quality became the backbone of scaling care across Canada. Stay tuned.
Hey, you think you know UPS? Yeah, that's us. Everybody knows that. You know what you didn't know? This. Okay, try to keep up. Ocean, us. Ground, rail, air, so us. Guess who? Us. Customs cleared, borders cleared, done. Us. You still with me? Wait for it. Boom. Us. Intelligent, automated, fulfillment. Us. Yep, healthcare too. Digital your thing? Yeah, well, book it, ship it, track it. You feeling me yet? Yep, that's all us. That's all UPS.
Welcome back. Let's dive into how Kiid ensures elite caregiver standards and why that trust factor is the real engine behind national growth. Now, let's look at how elite caregiver standards build trust and drive national expansion. How does Kiid ensure that caregiver quality and can consumers access the app directly as well? Just go ahead and explain the process. And also, trust factor is a huge thing, especially when parents are trusting their kids with anything, right? So, how would you address that?
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, Kiid is exclusively B2B. Your employer has to be a member for you to use it. Parents cannot just download an app on the App Store. So when an employee has access to Kiid, they have access to highly vetted and quality caregivers. And our process is a minimum of 3 years of experience in childcare, a clean background check, a first aid CPR certification, and we do our own professional training as well. So our caregivers have standards to follow. They have a uniform. It's a very streamlined process that is different than just hiring someone on other marketplaces. So trust factor, obviously, as a parent, you don't want to leave your children to anyone. Over time, Kiid has been in business for 9 years. We've built a strong reputation, and parents will trust the organization the same way as you would trust a school, a daycare. You don't know the teachers, the educators personally. You trust the organization and that they recruit the right people to care for your children. So it's the same with Kiid. Parents will trust us that we will send the right provider to their home that is fully vetted and experienced.
Very well articulated. This rigorous vetting process is clearly the foundation that allows parents to walk into a meeting with total confidence and, 100% availability of mind as well.
Absolutely.
Finally, now let's examine how, your recent partnerships are shaping the future of remote workforce support. How will care as a service evolve as a remote and hybrid work, expands in 2026?
I think it's already shifted from a nice to have, a niche perk, to an essential. Organizations are realizing that childcare has a direct impact on their productivity, and parents are realizing, employees are asking for it as well. When you have a distributed workforce, people in different cities, different provinces, different countries, you need perks and benefits that they can all use. And it's tough, like on-site perks are less relevant now if you have a distributed workforce. So care as a service and a company like Kiid, where we're everywhere in Canada, in a lot of cities in the US, is becoming very interesting for those companies that have remote workers or like a distributed work.
It's becoming a trend, sort of.
Yes.
That's great. It's a visionary outlook that proves that the future of work is about supporting the whole person and not just the employee itself. And that's beautiful, I think. Now, if I were to give you a time machine right now and say we were to travel 10 years into the future, how exactly would you envision Kiid's future?
True, it's a good question. I mean, I would envision all parents having access to childcare, not just kids, any sort of childcare, any working parent, to have access to a solution, to a plan B, so that they can have peace of mind and that it becomes it's normal and it's not just, oh wow, they have childcare. It should be completely normal.
Wow, love that vision. I'm loving this conversation, Marie-Pier, and definitely I'm going to invite you one more time where we can, dive into such deeper conversations. But before we let you go, if there's one piece of, final advice, or what do you think is that first step that leaders can take to, start supporting their working employees and the working parents?
I think ask them. Gather the parents, ask them what they need, what are their biggest challenge. Kiid is not for everyone. There's other solutions out there. And if an employer can understand the needs of their employees and what their biggest pain point is, they're more likely to provide the right solutions for them.
That's, such a practical and actionable advice. It has been such a pleasure having you on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, that was Marie-Pier from Kiid. A fascinating look at how solving the childcare puzzle can be a massive competitive advantage for any organization. To all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for more expert insights and visit CanadianSME.ca for resources. A special thank you to our partners, UPS, A1 Global College, Google, and ADP for their ongoing commitments to the Canadian small business community. Keep shining. Kripa Anand signing off.